Okay, I'm here.
Live.
Great. Okay, we're live on YouTube, just so everybody knows. And I'm going to get off YouTube so it doesn't reverberate. Hi. Is it the most exquisite day outside?
Beautiful, just gorgeous.
Unbelievable.
We deserve it.
I think
Yes, we do. I'm gonna mute.
Oh, there's Rory.
unmute yourself, Rory, or I'll unmute you.
Oh.
Excellent. You got
Hi,
some.
Sarah. Hi, Dara.
Hi.
You guys froze on me.
Yeah,
Hi.
nice to see you.
Good to see you guys. Oh, Sarah, look at that background. Ooh la la.
That's Leah's.
Really?
Yeah,
Very nice.
and that's Sarah Zick
Yep, it is.
and Amanda, I think. Is that
Oh my
Oh,
God. Oh.
No, Matt was there with her.
Matt? Okay.
But
Hi, Madeline.
picture.
Just so everybody knows, we're live on YouTube already because it takes a bit to get on there. So we won't start the
All
recording until 7, but
Takes a while to get on, she said, to get it on YouTube. Stan's looking for it on YouTube.
okay.
Town of Pine Plains, is that what it's on under?
Yes. Yep. It says we're on. Yep.
And I want to drive around. You guys.
I like that. You could keep doing that during this meeting.
No.
Where did you go? Where are you?
I'm just in my car here at the creamery, which is a nice, quiet place for me to be that's undisturbed and has a microphone and surround sound.
There you
So
go.
you guys are coming at me on the whole system.
Oh, that's great. Surround sound.
Look at that hair, Madeline. So luxurious. Oh, you're on mute. You're muted.
It's all crazy.
No, get my hair cut.
I can't wait to see what Matt has done because he had shaved his head the last time.
What's going on, Stan?
He's looking for us on YouTube. He doesn't see us.
I don't see you on YouTube.
The Zoom says we are live on YouTube.
Here's what YouTube says. I don't know, I guess you can't see it. YouTube does not show you live.
What does it say?
And you're sure you're at Town of Pine Plain?
That's the 18th.
That's the 18th minute.
Oop. All right, there's Matt. And there's Don.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
I can't hear you.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
We definitely hear you, Don. Nope, now you muted. I don't know if Don can hear us or not.
Rory's in his office.
Yes, sir.
Don,
Can
can you
you
hear
hear
us?
me?
We can hear you. Can you hear us?
Can you hear us, Don?
Why can I not hear anybody?
That's gotta be on, that's in your computer.
Volume on your computer up.
Keypad.
Yeah.
I'm talking to him. He's saying he can't hear us, and I'm
No, I
asking him to take volumes down.
Okay, well, it's not.
Yeah, it's on YouTube now.
Okay, great, excellent. It takes a while sometimes for it to transfer over. That's why I started early. That's gotta be on, that's in your computer.
There's a lapse.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. That's why I have to turn it off.
Oh, no.
We have a few minutes, right?
Yes, we have 5 minutes.
All right, I'm gonna go give my kids a kiss so they try not to run in.
Okay,
This.
Wow.
Rory, it's very difficult to do this with a.
I'm gonna have to
3.5-year-old and
change
want her not to
devices.
just come up to the screen and go, "Hi, everybody."
okay,
Don, we
Don,
see you.
we hear you. I don't know, like,
We should call Don on his telephone. Maybe,
I can call
I
him.
guess I'm using my phone.
I don't have a lot of,
I can call
okay, because I don't have a lot of bars.
Isn't there usually a button on the top of the keypad that you can like mute and unmute the?
Well, yeah, he should have a volume thing on his keypad.
Nice haircut, Matthew.
him. Oh, I'm not supposed to turn. Hey, easy. We're gonna talk to Don. I'll be back.
You are muted.
Oh, okay. Well, can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
Okay, well,
Hey.
what should I do to
Well, can you hear us?
hear you?
I guess not.
Let me see what's going on down here. Can say something.
Don Bartles radio, check.
I can hear you a tad.
Oh,
Can you hear me?
something's going right. Check 1, check 2. Check.
T minus 3 minutes and counting.
A, B, C, D.
I can barely hear you, anyone, but I can hear you to some extent. Now, why is that?
There must be a,
Turn your speakerphone on your cell phone and then you can hear us and we can hear you through the computer. Is that okay?
So I'm trying.
Okay.
Are you communicating with him, Matt?
Yeah, Matt's.
This is Zick. How do you do?
Madeline, is Judy coming? She should be, okay.
Do you want me to call her quick?
Hey, Don, can you hear us?
Sure, call her.
Okay.
mean, I'm on the phone with Don, but I don't think he understands that the phone's still there. I'll be right back.
Did you talk to him about the keypad and the buttons on it?
Looks like he's working on it. Oops. Don't go anywhere, Rory.
Yeah, it keeps
I know, I
Putting
like,
me
I
in
got you.
it keeps putting me in safe driving mode. It thinks I'm trying to drive around.
All right.
I guess I'm gonna have to watch.
Oh, dear.
It's
Well, we-
saying on the cell phone, it says not meeting host. So
But Don, can you hear me?
very poorly.
Why don't you call Matt? Call Matt on your cell phone and then turn up your speakerphone.
Okay,
Or-
we're
or-
talking to Matt on the regular phone, so.
Okay,
Okay.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out a way for him to be able to hear us. Matt, if you can figure that out with him?
He can. So Don, if you can hear us a little bit, there's an option down at the bottom of the screen where it says stop video or hold on. Where the mute button thing is in the bottom left-hand corner where that arrow is, if you click on it, you can switch to the phone audio.
He's calling you.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, Matt.
Yeah. So
Okay,
Don, if you go down to the bottom left-hand corner, you see where the mute button is?
let me get back to wherever you are.
Where the video screen is.
Yeah,
Down, if you click on the arrow where the mute button is,
yeah,
the
Okay.
list will come up.
yeah.
If you click to switch to phone audio, you can dial in to a number to have audio that way if you can't hear us. I think you just need to turn up the volume on your computer.
I turned up all volumes. And I haven't had any problem with other people with this, but I am having problems now with this.
That is so weird.
Who did that? Okay,
Hello?
wait a minute. I've evidently found the issue.
All right. Hey.
Hey.
You can hear us now?
I can hear you now.
Oh, wonderful.
Now, what
Right.
it basically is a bad speaker.
We are all here
Ah.
together.
No, there's an additional person on the screen.
There is, yes, and I will introduce him in a minute. But let me call this meeting to order. I'd like, this is the May 21st Town Board meeting. It is important during this time of the pandemic that the functions of government carry on. It is under that premise that we will continue holding our meetings remotely, record them, and live stream them on YouTube for the foreseeable future as prescribed by the governor's executive orders, including 202.1, 202.14, and 202.28. For those new to board meetings, the agenda is always posted before the meeting on our website and on the bulletin board at Town Hall when we work in person. The minutes for each meeting are also available on the website, but remember that minutes are always 1 month behind because we approve them at each meeting. The agenda is standard, meaning that the same categories pretty much exist for each meeting in the same order, although their content varies. In addition to my regular newsletter, which comes out every Friday, I have begun a series of newsletters on how the town government functions for those who would like to understand this process. This will be available under Town Supervisor Updates on the website, as are all the newsletters we issue each week, posted a few days after they are delivered to subscribers by email. So sign up. We will skip the pledge this month, but I would like to replace it with a tour of artworks by our own Pine Plains kids. I just want to show you a couple of things. Look at this beautiful painting. These are going to be hanging in the new old library, in the windows. Let's see if I can get, as they renovate. They're giant. They're 48 by 48.
I love that one. That was
Oh, I know. Isn't that great? I wish the tower looked like that.
great.
So I wanted to show everybody that. I just think it's terrific. This was a commission for teen artists launched by the new owners of the old library, Matt and Whitney and Ben and their families. All right. The first thing that we're going to do tonight is approve the minutes and the town clerk report.
The minutes are of April 16th and the report is April's.
I move that we accept those minutes as submitted and the also the town clerk report.
There is a revised first page in there. I'd forgotten to put in the dates of the minutes that were approved at the last meeting. I said they were approved, but I didn't give the dates.
Great.
They're in your mailboxes.
Can I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Judy. We're going to do the approval of the bills, but I just want to say that we don't read every bill out loud because it would take us hours. We have, as a town, upwards of 50 to 100 bills each month, and we do not have the time to read them each out. So that is why we do it this way. And Sarah, would you do the approval of the bills?
Judy, would you state the numbers of the bills we're approving?
I have them. General bills are number 17602 to 17627. Highway bills are number 17629 to 17645. And water improvement area bills are number 2948 to 2952.
Make a motion to accept them.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So is that Sarah and Matt, or Matt and,
Dara.
However you want to put it is okay with me, Judy, but yes.
Matt and
Dara.
thank you.
Sarah.
All right. You have noticed a guest on our in our gallery, and this is John Penny. John has visited us before last fall to talk about Census 2020, and he's back because the census is still going on. And John, do you want to take over?
Sure. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you all again, and I wish we could be doing this in person, but that's where we are right now, but we may get another crack at that at some point before this is all done. I wanted to update you because I was going to update you anyway. My plan was to circle back with municipalities in different capacities, but particularly in light of what's happened, I thought it was really important. So I'll just start by saying that the census has been open for 2 months now, and it's available for people to fill out if they have the ability at my2020census.gov. And the responses have been coming in, and I'll talk more about that. I just want to recap. I know you all know the importance of the census. The coronavirus has done, if it's done anything, it's kind of reiterated the point of how important it is that we make sure everyone gets counted and we get the federal dollars that your community is entitled to, which is going to be, even more necessary in light of the current situation. So again, $675 billion are at stake. They get divided based on census numbers. We do the census once every 10 years. It's mandated in the Constitution. The goal is to count everyone, regardless of their legal status or any other consideration. And congressional lines and other political lines will be redrawn based on the numbers as well. So that's why it's so important. So again, the census has been open. It works in a kind of phased system where this is really the first time we're able to do it online, and that's what the government is hoping most people will do. It's the most effective, most efficient way of getting this done. But then, so they started out by getting mailings to people that they can mail to at this point, information about how to do that online. Now they've moved on to other methods, including providing phone numbers if people, well, I don't want to fill it out online, I don't want to do it that way, but I'll do it over the phone with someone. So I'm going to give you two numbers. The one in English is 844-330-2020. The census has about 19 dedicated lines in different languages, actually, so you don't have to press 1 or 2 for another language. The dedicated Spanish line is 844-468-2020, just so you have that as well. I have provided this information through email and can do so again. So I just want to kind of give you a status of where we are. I'll start with the response rates. I think it's really important that nobody panic. This is we're in this for the long haul, and we know where the numbers are and what we're going to need to do to get to what we think is 100%. But right now, as we stand, this is what we call the self-response rate, and what that means is this is the rate, the percentage of people that fill out the form before a field worker would have to actually go out and knock on doors and say, hey, we really need you to fill out your census. So where we stand now, nationally, it's almost at 60%. It's at 59.8. The state historically has always been a little below that. We have some places that are more challenging than others. The state is at 54.6. The good news is Dutchess County is doing pretty well. 10 years ago, we were in the bottom third of the 62 counties, and this time we're in the top third. So I'm very happy that that we made is doing something, and that number is 58.3. The town number is a little problematic, but it's also understandable. So I don't want anyone to panic, and we're going to work through it to get it up. But right now, the town number is 43. And the big reason for that is, I am sure, because this is the case with a lot of more rural areas, is the PO box issue.
Right.
This, as I mentioned to you before, and I know not you, but there were some people when I made this tour had a really hard time believing this. They really thought somehow that their mail carrier was going to send the census to a PO box. The census is adamant that they do not do that. The reason why they don't do that is they track by address. The census tracks by address. It needs a physical residence, physical location to make sure all this corresponds. So the good news is, again, not to panic. If we were not in the coronavirus, we would be at a point right now where the field workers would start to be going out to finish this count. But we're not there because of the coronavirus. So the good news is the census has been pushed back, it's been delayed, and the field workers right now are not expected to get out until the summer, sometime most likely in August. And the count, which was supposed to go to the end of July, now looks like it's going to go to pretty much the end of October. There's a lot of caveats there, and the one being the virus. So we don't know what exactly this virus is going to do, and how is it going to, when is it going to allow field workers to get into the field. So I can say, I'm just on a, safely feel like I could say the census will start up in other areas of the country in terms of the field work quicker than ours, because then, some states aren't having the number of cases that we're having. So the census will get going where and when it can, and we're going to have to see about our area. So that's kind of the big push. What you all can do now, and what I can do, and what we're trying to do is anyone who has been notified, and a lot of people have been notified one way or another to fill out the census, if we can get that number up, that's great. There are some people that have just not been notified. If we can get word to them that they can actually fill out this online without any notification, they don't need necessarily the code that most of us have probably received to fill out the census. I will add something to that. The census is actually of the mind that they don't have a problem with people waiting to get that code because it's part of the verification process they use. But nevertheless, the form is available for anyone to use. It clearly says if you don't have a code, you could fill it out, and it prompts those people to fill it out by using. I think the first thing it asks for them is their address. And it prompts them with a couple of questions, and then the census will come up and they can do it. The only other points I really want to make is, as I said when I was there, communities that are undercounted will get hurt financially. There's no doubt about it. So it's important that we get the count up. The census is totally confidential. You might remember me saying, I probably worded it this way, that the census is not a two-way street. It's a one-way street. It could ask and usually receive information from other federal agencies, get the information that it needs to do the count, but it cannot in turn send out any personal information to other federal agencies. And if someone is found in violation, they face a $250,000 fine and/or 5 years in prison. So that's really it. I was hoping that you could, any means that you have to reach your residents. I heard, and I know you have a newsletter. I know you've been putting things in about it. My understanding is, and I know you've been, there are towns that are really working on this, and so the number really isn't a reflection of that. It's really a reflection of the PO box issue, I think. So, but we're going to keep working at it and make sure that people get out there and that we get you where you need to be, which is 100% count.
I think it will
John, just a
help
quick
when-
question. Last time you were here, you said that you were looking for some field workers. If everything does clear up, are you? Because we have a lot of college kids that are home that, couldn't get their normal internships in office buildings were canceled, that, we can maybe try to get some of the college groups.
Absolutely. It's if you go, I should have that exact. If you Google census jobs, that will come right up. I think it's / 20. I don't want to give you the wrong address, but it's right there. If you go on to the census, that's really good. And that's a really good point, because here's the issue. We were concerned about, I have it. There you go. It is 2020census.gov. Yes, /jobs. It's a great point, because even before this, the census was having trouble filling the ranks. It did a very good job of being more aggressive and getting the ranks at a better place. But I'm going to be frank, with this virus, there may be some workers, I would imagine there are going to be some workers who signed up to do this that are going to say, no, thanks, I'm not going to do it. And conversely, I think there are going to be some residents that are going to be even more apprehensive to open their door. So this is why we want to get as many people as possible to fill this form out online or over the phone. It was always an important goal, and the virus has made it even more important.
I think that as the library is able to open,
Yeah,
we will also be able to get more people in there, because broadband is still an issue in our area.
right.
And I believe that the library now is able to open, letting in just a few people at a time to work at the computers or take out books.
Great.
So hopefully next week that would be in place.
And the libraries have been very cooperative. They really understand the importance of that. But if you could have that conversation with your head librarian and just the director, and just say, look, we really need to make this an important point for sure. But they really have been on board. They've been great. I've been trying to reach the school superintendents also. Any means that we have, it's not just on you, it's really not. This should be on everyone in the community. All our community leaders should be involved in trying to get this number up. And again, I just want to reiterate that, we're going to get there, and, the county is committed to helping, and, we're staying on top of this. Like I said, overall, our numbers are better, which is good, but we have some work to do.
All right.
One quick comment, if I could.
Yep, Don?
The school is distributing the information in their lunch program.
Great.
And also with the food pantry has the information available for whenever they have their open, open food district.
That's great, and that doesn't surprise me. We've seen that in a lot of municipalities. This has really been a big effort, and believe me, it's not just me or my committee, the Community Action Partnership. There's a lot of organizations across this county that have really understood the importance of the census, and the census has even said that, 10 years ago, they weren't getting this kind of awareness support from other folks like they're getting this time. So that's a really good thing. I'm confident we're going to get the number up.
Great. Anything else, anybody? John, thank you so much for coming
Okay.
back.
Okay, thanks. Anything I can do to help, you know where to find me, okay?
It's nice to see you.
Take care.
Bye.
Good night.
All right. So I'll move on to the supervisor's statement. Much of my time lately has been taken up in preparing for the phase 1 reopening of Dutchess County whenever that can occur, preparing for the next phases, which will involve our recreation program and local restaurants and businesses, and keeping our numerous projects going under significant difficulty. To that end, I would like to talk here a moment about a document the town board received on April 26 by email, purportedly being a petition to call a referendum for the purchase of 12 North Main. As you know, we have been in a permissive referendum period since our last board meeting, in which by unanimous vote, the town board approved the purchase of this property for the town's use. While we are very sympathetic at this time to the concerns implied by the document, it would have been wholly irresponsible to accept this document as a real legal petition necessitating the instigation of a referendum, which is a very costly undertaking for a town. The document submitted to us did not contain a single address for any of the signees, as is required by law. We determined that a great deal of the names were of people who do not live in Pine Plains, and the court ruled that the document did not even have a stated purpose. Given the fact that it contained no valid signatures, but mindful that we are in a time of stay-at-home orders due to the pandemic, we might have taken it more seriously had there been at least valid addresses given. As it was, some people only signed their first names. In order to take this document seriously, we unanimously determined to treat it as possibly valid and hired an attorney to work with the county court to determine that. The decision was delivered to us on Tuesday, and here are the last 2 paragraphs. Understanding our present circumstance, this is what the judge wrote. It is understandable that obtaining actual signatures may have been difficult for the respondent, that is the person who submitted this document. However, the petition is deficient in more ways than lacking actual signatures. The respondent made very little effort to conform with the formalities of a petition and specifically failed to articulate a purpose for the petition so that the town or anyone else would know why a referendum was wanted by the respondent or the residents. Coupled with the lack of authentication of the signatories, demonstrating that the signatories are actual residents of the town who oppose the resolution for the same reasons, the respondent has made little effort to oppose this motion. his second chance to give a basis for the petition. It is submitted late as a letter and still fails to provide some statement of purpose and reasons for its failure to adhere to the protocols of filing a petition. The respondent's neglect to do so appears to have little to do with him not being an attorney. In light of the foregoing, the respondent has failed to give this court a basis to not invalidate its petition. There is no stated purpose behind the petition that warrants overlooking the technical defects of the petition, even during this health crisis. Moreover, if the board had accepted the flawed document and ran an expensive referendum, we would have exposed the town to the certainty of costly lawsuits by other town residents who do not want the expense of a referendum. Accordingly, the purchases of the properties in questions have been conducted by the board in good faith, in full compliance with all applicable laws and regulations, all with an eye towards achieving the town's goals. However, despite this ruling, I just want to say that we hear those who signed this document and take quite seriously your concerns. To that end, we also feel that our decision to purchase the property is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for the town to acquire enough land downtown to make a difference in public life here, no matter what we do with it. Our ability to purchase a property appraised at over $230,000 for a price of $100,000 at an historically low interest rate of 2% is unheard of in any time. We have received many emails in support of the purchase, and a full history of how we reached this decision will be shortly up on our website under a new page called Current Town Projects, in case you did not watch all of the town board meetings or attend them or read the minutes. But just to remind you, we voted again unanimously to make our offer at the February 20th board meeting, then hired a lawyer to help with the contract, discussed the purchase extensively at the April 13th town board workshop meeting, and voted again unanimously to make the purchase at the regular town board meeting on April 16th, all to the letter of the law. I want to end this statement by talking about some real heroes in town during this pandemic, people who have used this time to help others. Pat Nanetti and Ted Malazzi of the Food Bank, Nelson and Lisa Zayas of Willow Roots, again, the new folks at the old library, who launched a campaign to raise money for out-of-work local restaurant workers, garnering over $28,000 from more than 100 townspeople, and distributing that money to 73 individuals. And Paige Arendt, a 14-year-old student who launched her own campaign to help people out of work and raised more than $1,500 all on her own. All of these people have been tireless in their dedication to helping others through the pandemic, and I want to thank you all on behalf of the whole town for your amazing accomplishments. Next on the agenda, I have a quick discussion of reopening Dutchess County. And just to say, I don't want to get into all of this. You can find a lot online at dutchessny.gov. But phase 1 is construction, agriculture, forestry, fishing, and hunting. Retail limited to curbside or in-store pickup or drop-off. Manufacturing and wholesale trade. We are hoping, I again meet twice a week on the phone with the county executive and all the mayors and supervisors. We're hoping that any day now, Dutchess County will open to phase 1, but it may not happen till next Tuesday. We don't even know then. Our metrics are there. We have fulfilled 7 of the 7 metrics to open, which is great news. Hospitalizations are down. Testing is up. And we're just waiting word from the governor. The Mid-Hudson has many counties in it. And so Dutchess and Ulster have achieved their metrics, but some of the other counties in our region have not. And that's where the problem is. So I am really hoping that we can open, I would, yesterday, but that's not going to happen. So those are the first businesses that can open in phase one. So houses can be built again, non-essential, bathroom remodeling can happen. And retail can open to curbside or in-store pickup or drop off. Those are the main things that affect Pine Plain. Anybody have any questions about this? I think everybody's been working really hard to keep our infection rate down. I see masks on tons of people around town. And, it's a great effort.
And what they're finding now, more and more, is that the masks do a very effective job of preventing the spread. So we really need to pay attention to that.
That's great. That's wonderful. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to do was just share sort of an update on the budget, which I thought was apropos. So many people might not know what a sweep account is. It is basically a savings account which accrues interest and which, when funds are needed, allows us to sweep money from it into our checking account for our use. We've had one of these for, oh boy. I think we got the sweep going last fall, early last fall. By having one of these, we make interest revenue on our tax and revenue money rather than parking it in a checking account with no interest. Last year, we made over $18,000 in interest revenue from this account. We had put it into a what they call into a savings account first, and then it went into a sweep. Right now, the sweep account contains $2,607,112.96 and is acquiring an interest rate of 65.65, which is quite a bit down from the original 2.11% interest we were getting a year ago. Year-to-date interest on this money, most of which just came in from taxes, is $6,268. Our checking account holds $335,000 as of this date. This should get us through at least July, I believe, before I have to start sweeping from the sweep account. I have not yet swept anything, but it's coming. So July or August, we'll start pulling money from there. And now that money is the highway, the town, the water department, the lighting district. And we paid our fire district tax money back to them already. We also have paid the library, all the big, we paid our bonds. So most of the really big items are paid off March and April. Sales tax revenue for the first quarter is at $55,690, which is 1/3 of what we budgeted for the whole year. We expect this to go down, but are mindful of internet sales, which are now taxed in New York. I'm hopeful that this tax will make up some of the shortfall we anticipate. Our second quarter payment will say a lot about that. We usually get that sometime in August. The state is saying that we should expect about a 40% shortfall in sales tax. But I'm not sure that they took into account internet sales. So we'll find out.
When did that begin, Dara, the internet sale taxing?
Last year, I think that went into, so all your Amazon purchases and all your, that stuff, you now see a little tax paid on it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so that kind of shopping has gone up considerably. And I was wondering if that's why we did so well in the first quarter, because that's more than we made last year in the first quarter.
Okay. Is it less than the normal sales tax rate? Or is it just the normal sales?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Does anybody else? At this time, I would like to, we sent you the retirement hours. It was a big document with everybody's calendar. And this happens pretty much every year at this time. And what this is everybody who has signed up to be in the New York State retirement system has a certain amount of hours that they work that are counted towards their retirement. So there were a number of people whose hours were incorrect, which we had to reinvestigate and correct. And we've been working closely with the retirement people in Albany, and I believe we have everything correct now. So I'm asking for a motion to accept a resolution to accept the retirement hours for the appointed and elected people on those documents.
So moved.
Could I have a
Second.
second? Rory, second. All in
Yep.
favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you very much. All right. Now we have the public comment period, and I think gathering public comment from the last meeting was, we didn't get much on the YouTube live. We can't access public comment live at this point because there's such a delay. But if people want to make comments, they can do it on the YouTube, and we will address them at the next session. So we didn't get hardly anything that of substance last time. Warren is not here, obviously. We had no resolutions to pass tonight other than things we could handle ourselves. So I'll move on to the department reports. Let's see here. Highway. This is from Heather. Despite the workforce reduction requirements as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, we were still very productive here at the Highway Department. We participated in the community birthday and healthcare worker parades organized by the fire department. My crew members alternated coverage, which allowed for our truck to be part of the parade over the past 4 weeks. I have attended numerous webinars over the past couple of months and continue to do so. They have covered a multitude of topics ranging from highway department training to COVID-19 specific training offered by our insurance company for returning to work after the pandemic. Each one of these webinars has provided excellent resources and information to help ensure the safety of my employees. The vent pipes at the old landfill have been repaired as requested. Now that we are back to 100% of our labor force, we are prepping roads and equipment for our upcoming anticipated road maintenance projects. Roadside mowing is underway as well. I am still awaiting confirmation of the CHIPS, EWR, and PAVE New York program amounts from the state. We are anticipating that information any day now. The New York Association of Town Superintendents of Highways has been very active in fighting for maintaining the current budget funding. I would like to remind motorists to please stay alert. Watch out for the crew and equipment when driving through a work zone. Although the Highway Department facility will remain locked and access restricted during these uncertain times, I urge anyone with a highway-related issue to call the office. We have some more highway stuff to consider, but we'll do that when we talk to, we go to the engineer report. Building inspector. Total permits year to date, 16. Certificates of occupancy issued, 2. Certificates of occupancy searches, 4. And there were 9 site inspections performed. I'm going on to the police department report. We had 226 hours of patrol, 13 of admin. Investigation were 2 hours. Detailing and vehicle maintenance, 4 and 7. We had 13 complaints that they attended, 2 fire EMS calls, no accidents, 19 traffic warnings, 10 traffic tickets, no parking tickets, no DWI, which is great, and no arrests. And John reports that our officer in charge, that Officer Camburn and Sergeant Lawson provided traffic control for the Saturday birthday parades. And he wanted people to know that Stewart's continues to be the only business in town that's non-compliant and permits customers to enter the store without proper PPE. The store is often overcrowded. It depends on what time of day you're there. And so you have to make a judgment call on your own about that. On a good note, crime is virtually non-existent in Pine Plains. We are hopeful this will continue.
And I do want to say for the highway department, the police department, and the fire department that it is great that they are donating their time on Saturdays to go around and do these. And I think that it's a great thing for the community. And I'm glad that they are doing that. You know, I think that it's giving people smiles and everything like that. So I just want, you know, John Hughes has been a part of it too. They've been doing the 3 cars to make sure that everybody can get through at the same time. So
It's significant.
thank you, Heather. Thank you, John. Thank you, Brian Walsh and the fire department. Thank you.
It's great. I think they were out 5 or 6 hours 2 weeks ago.
Oh, the nurses one? Forget
That
about
was
it.
the nurses one. Yeah, it was, he said it was, he was exhausted.
Yeah.
But it's been very exciting to see, and I love, you know, I love it. I hear it coming down the street myself, and we always run out.
And don't forget to talk about the Memorial Day.
Oh, thank you.
Drive-through.
So Memorial Day, as we all know and love it, is canceled this year. There will be laying of wreaths and small ceremonies attended only by the VFW and American Legion. But there is a convoy coming through town. They have not given us a time. And this is instituted by Mark Coviello and Veteran Services for the county. What they're doing is driving in a big circle around the county with a convoy of vehicles. And they will be coming down from Millerton down 199. And they will go through town on 199 and out to Milan and on. So again, we don't know what time that will be. Everybody's asked to put out a flag. And also maybe if you don't have a flag, maybe your kid can draw one. Put something in the window. Obviously you can sit in your lawn and watch the convoy when it comes by. I wish I could give you a time. They were not sure what time, but I believe they're starting from Southern Dutchess down, they're going down from Poughkeepsie this way and coming up to us. So I'm suspecting we're looking at midday.
Is Heather going to be putting out our town flags?
I don't know the answer to that, but I would assume so. All right. You have the water report. Daily usage was down to 48,000 per day during the month of April. Water meter maintenance due to COVID-19 and the requirement to practice social distancing and not intrude into customers' homes, meter replacement and repairs have temporarily been suspended. If the social distancing requirements continue beyond the next billing cycle, estimated meter reading utilizing past water usage records will be implemented. There were 3 markouts performed in the past month. And he wanted to talk about the county was performing drainage work in the area of North Main Street, which I'm sure everybody saw. And since they were doing that, Ray took the opportunity of replacing an existing damaged water service curb box and removing a second existing damaged service valve in the area of the construction. In addition, the pavement repair on the westbound lane of Route 199 across from St. Anthony's Church was completed. That was a big kind of a pothole thing that it's great to have it done. Ray did hydrant maintenance on 9 hydrants at Pine and Maple Streets, including lubricating and painting. And he actually, we can talk about this right now. He received 3 written quotations for the inspection of the interior and exterior of the water storage tank. And the interior of the tank will be inspected with a submersible remote operated vehicle. And the tank will remain in operation without impacting continued service. The low bid in the amount of $1,400 was received from Pittsburgh Tank and Tower. Pittsburgh Tank and Tower performed the last inspection on the tank. He's requesting that we make a motion to accept the quotation from Pittsburgh Tank and Tower in the amount of $1,400 and that the board authorize Ray to proceed with scheduling the inspection.
Who is that from again that he wants us to approve?
Pittsburgh Tank and Tower for
Thank you.
$1,400.
I'll make that motion.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Who made that second?
I did, Sarah.
Thank you.
I just wanted to, let's see, we do have the paving repair bill that Ray referenced. That came to $3,490, which I just wanted you to know. Don, do we need to approve this?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
We approved it already, I believe. didn't
Yeah,
we?
we did approve it. We had the estimate that they had to do the
Right.
work fast because of the weather and the lack of traffic.
We approved the estimate, so I don't see why
Correct.
it's necessary to approve payment.
Okay, great. Okay. The last thing under water and engineer is the highway garage phase 1B building improvement. You have this in your packet. The total cost is $90,000.
We budgeted 50,000 for this.
We did, yeah,
And so that means we'll have to take 40 out of our unencumbered reserve,
correct.
correct?
Yep.
I make a motion that we proceed.
I'll second
Second.
that.
All in
As-
favor? Oh,
as
do you want
part
to
of-
discuss this?
As far as the discussion,
Yeah,
it's something that we've been looking at for a long time. And I think we really have to get going with it. The price is much more than I hoped it would be,
yeah.
but I think we should get moving with it. It's something that has to be done.
I am afraid that if we delay, everything will get worse.
Well, it definitely will.
Yeah.
And we also have a potential problem there with the existing methodology of draining the interior of the building. At some point, we're going to have to address the oil-water separation anyhow. So it's not going to get cheaper.
Yeah.
Good.
We have a second, all in favor?
Matt?
Aye.
Right.
Aye.
All right.
I think Heather had asked us too, if we're still on highway, to discuss something there about her video doorbell, maybe? Does that ring a bell with you?
Yes, yes, she did.
Yes. Okay. I don't know if it's something that requires us to just chat about, or if we needed to resolve to permit her to take advantage of
Well,
that technology.
We get to pay for it, so I
Yeah.
guess
Yeah,
it comes out of town budget, right?
I don't think we already have a surveillance camera on the door. And if somehow we're going, and I think that's only attached to Heather's camera or Heather's cell phone. We need a lot more discussion with Heather about how she intends on using this. I don't know. I can't understand how it works. I think a chain across the stairway with a box of masks and, is going to be just as good.
I don't think she should meet anybody upstairs. I think she should meet them in the break room.
I don't think we're opening.
Yeah.
We're opening up, and we're either going to open up or we're going to slam shut again.
Mm-hmm.
And she's made arrangements, or they have made arrangements for receiving tickets. Karen is going to, if someone did have to come in, Karen's going to have to go downstairs to let them in anyhow. Or are they going to have their business discussions through a doorbell? I just don't understand it. I see lots of TV commercials about these things, and I just don't think it's an appropriate response. My feeling.
Well, let's get more information on it before we make a decision.
Yes, it's disappointing that she chose not to be here this evening when we had to discuss it. So.
Yeah, she didn't choose. I think it was just, did she need to be here? Yeah, she wasn't. Okay. All right, so we'll table that for next time, or we can actually have a discussion at the next workshop meeting.
That's a good idea.
Which
And
is,
we'll have a better idea where we are with opening up the county.
okay. That's great. Table doorbell. All right, Recreation Department. You have Jen Chase's, so I just want to make sure everybody understands still that every day something changes at the government level about opening summer camps or not opening summer camps. We've been told to plan to open, and if we can't open, we can't open. So Jen Chase has gone ahead and interviewed people and recommends these particular hires that you have in front of you. I'm sure they're all great kids. I know almost all of them. So the question is whether we can move to pass these, given that we do go ahead with summer camp and the beach.
I'll make that motion. I looked at the list and
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Great. I don't know what to hope for. I think it would be incredible to be able to have camp and open the beach, and I just don't know what's going to happen. Let's see. We don't have any more department reports.
I
Is
didn't
there
have
a motion on that? My computer is acting up.
Yes, there was, and it was there was a vote
Okay, and that was?
to approve.
I made the motion, Judy.
Thank you, Matt. Who did the second?
Sarah,
Yeah,
Thank you. And it's to approve the summer hires for the
Thank
beach
you.
and the camp.
Is that for the beach also or just the camp?
Beach and the camp. Okay, here's some old business. The man we approved to hire to be an extra officer to help out with the shifts could not work the hours that John needed him to work. At the same time, the man we approved almost a year ago, Mark Parada, finished his credits at Dutchess Community College, I believe. I think it was Dutchess, and has now been approved by HR to be a police officer. So I wanted to, we've already approved him. We looked at his resume a year ago. I would like to replace the man we had originally thought would be doing this job with the man we originally approved. If you remember, we approved him and then the county came back and said he needed 30 more credits of college, but he went out and did it.
good for him.
He's local. I've met him. He seems great. I think he'll fit into this group. And John really likes him.
So how is he going to be trained in our department? Because he doesn't have much experience, right?
His experience is with, he works right now as a dispatcher. He's got the training. I believe he's got a lot of training under his belt already. What he would do would be to start June 1st with ride-alongs.
That's what I would want.
Yes, yeah,
Right, okay.
that's how John always does it. So, yeah,
He needs supervision
exactly.
initially, yes, okay. That's fine.
Do we need to re-vote on that? Do you want to reapprove Mark Parada?
I
This
moved it.
hire is to take over Lawson's spot because Lawson's gonna be phasing out, right?
Pardon me?
Lawson is gonna be phasing out, right? So he's stepping in for that or
He's
no?
possibly phasing out, but Mike Beliveau is going out for surgery
Oh,
at
okay.
a shoulder. So Mark will be, working to fill in the gaps. He also has all the uniform, all the equipment and the clothing. We don't have to spend money on that. Which
How do you
actually
spell his last name?
Perrotta.
Thank you.
We have a motion. Could I have a second?
I'll second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I couldn't hear who they were.
Aye.
Don,
Matt seconded.
Yeah,
Don and Matt.
Okay.
Thank you.
Onward. I gave you, at the workshop meeting on Monday, we talked about some policy additions to our employee handbook. And I have sent you these. I'm wondering if you have any discussion for any of these? I suggested a social media policy that's very simple, that the town Facebook page is a platform for information, not discussion. As such, it is to be used for the dissemination of state, county, and town government information only and will not address any comments.
I thought that was fine.
Any other
no,
I think it sounds good. Well,
Okay. Short and sweet?
Yeah.
Okay. We talked about standards of conduct. We were talking about chewing tobacco and spitting. And we talked about putting that under standards of conduct as opposed to putting it under the no smoking rule. So that we're not outlawing, so to speak, chewing, but we are asking for the spitting to be in a sanitary way. So I had two suggestions here, either one or both of them. Smoking in the workplace or spitting on the floor or in town vehicles would be listed as something that you are not allowed to do. Or just something more general, like endangering the health and well-being of other employees.
Both of them turned out to be quite subjective in having had further discussions with some of the people.
Okay,
You know, it was garbage cans, you know, any place. It was a very difficult thing to do, but I think a very general term. You know, the second choice that you had was, you know, it's, you know, I don't rank it as one of the highest priorities right now.
right.
Right.
Okay, well,
I rank it somewhere around doorbells.
doorbell.
Sorry.
It would be nice to hear more from Heather about what's going on there, I guess, and the need for the change.
Uh-huh,
Maybe.
uh-huh.
I think the worry has been just people tracking into spit. That I would say that was and that's just, you know, I don't know what to say about that. The availability of something to spit in.
Well, the comment had also come up that, you know, spitting into the garbage can was offensive and some things
Oh.
like that. So,
Okay,
you know, I think a discussion on just common courtesy on the offender.
okay.
Oh, you okay, Rory?
That'd be okay.
Rory fell
That'd be
down.
okay.
You rolled the car.
He's falling and he can't get up.
I don't know why I keep tipping over.
Distracted driving, I'm sure.
So the second one then, on that one might be what we approve.
Would you read it again, please?
Endangering the health and well-being of other employees.
Yes.
Okay, that's nice and general. All right. The third one was the health insurance. There were two. So what is the result of one of our retirees having gotten to the age where Medicare kicks in. And we looked at the employee handbook and there is no reference to Medicare. So we wanted to make it very clear what happens when you turn 65. I think this might be the first person we've had go through this. So I think that's why it doesn't exist yet. So there were two things. There was a clarity on when the health insurance buyout is paid, just so that new employees can find it and see and when they can expect to be paid if they take the buyout. That's the first one on that list. And then the second one is what we would cover once a retiree turns 65 and goes on Medicare. So what happens, because we are not big enough, we don't have 40 employees on health insurance, MVP cannot cover their Part D. What we do is they go on Medicare, they have to sign up for it themselves, and then they can choose a Part D provider. And our agent helped our retiree find this coverage. He chose AARP. And so our retiree and his spouse are now on Medicare with Part D covered by the town. And that's in perpetuity, the way we have it written. But it hasn't been expressed in our employee handbook. So now it is. And then I went back and looked at, we follow the state in terms of when people are vested. So we are, employees here are vested, full-time employees are vested after 10 years. Consequently, I just followed exactly what the vesting percentage is for how much of their Part D we pay. Does that make sense? So and this is regarding their health insurance as well. So if we pay 50% of the health insurance for someone who's worked here for 10 years and then retires at 62, we would pay 50% of their Part D expenses once they're on Medicare. After 15 years, we pay 75% for that 3-year period when they retire of their health insurance. Once they get on Medicare, we would pay 75% of their Part D. And then for a 20-year employee, we pay 100% of Part D expenses and 50% for their spouse. So I basically just followed what's there for the health insurance and put it onto the Part D.
Can someone remind me what Part D coverage
It's
encompasses?
your pharmacy. It's all your medicine.
The AARP plan they have is just a Part D plan and not one of the Advantage plans?
Correct,
Yeah, okay.
correct. As we discussed at the workshop meeting, you know, having, well, I think it would just help enormously to have it all written out. So that,
It was fine. I liked it.
okay,
I thought it was clear. I didn't have any problem with it.
okay. Anybody else?
Are there caps on the total drug costs that can be put to this in a year? And are we covering 100% of that, of the drug costs, for example?
Well, it's
The town?
no,
Or do we have reinsurance? No. Okay.
No.
No, we're just paying for the insurance. We're not paying for the drugs themselves.
Okay, thank you,
For
thank
the
you.
plan, it's for the plan.
And we're not picking up the copays.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
all right. Could I have a motion to accept those changes in the employee handbook?
I will make that motion.
What about the fourth one?
That's not a
Oh, okay.
handbook thing, so I just wanted to deal with the first three.
Uh,
Could I have a second?
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
and we're accepting the second option for Part 2, standards of conduct,
Correct,
endangering. Okay.
correct. All right, and the fourth item here is our Board of Ethics, which we are reinstating people to. I contacted our attorney and Warren said that we have to stagger the appointments as indicated in the current policy.
The
So
terms of the appointments then.
that's the term. So the way that works, let me see now. I had, oh, here it is. Warren said that we have to the appointments. Has somebody got,
Someone's got the YouTube going, yeah.
yeah, can somebody turn that off?
The terms of the. Is that you, Judy?
He's multitasking with social media right now.
Got it.
I just muted it. Okay, so I believe at the workshop meeting, here are the following people and we can decide what their terms are because we will expect that they will be reinstated. So in a way, it doesn't matter which term they get unless they don't want to stay. We have Doug Hart, Frank Voles, Hollis Bart, with Susan Crossley as the alternate.
That sounds like a good group.
All right,
Want a motion that we accept those people, we appoint those people to the ethics board.
yes, please.
All right, I will move that we appoint those people to the ethics board.
I'll second that.
How are we doing term?
How, I believe that the way I read it is the 1, 2, 3 or 3, 2, 1. Maybe it was the 3, 2, 1. So Doug Hart, 3 years, Frank Volt, 2 years, Hollis Bart, 1 year.
Fine.
And then obviously they'd be reinstated, but that's how we stagger it.
And the alternate should serve for 1 year, I think,
Okay,
and be reappointed.
great.
Annually, that is? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have a motion on the table.
Yeah, Sarah made the motion. I second it.
Made the motion, yeah.
Matt seconds.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I just want to thank everybody who wrote us and volunteered for this position. I don't have any executive session.
I just wanted to have an update on our court. Is the court going to recommence actually meeting, or what's happening?
Dave is working that out. He was I saw him on Monday. He believes that they are planning to open within about a week or 2 weeks. They're trying to figure out how to open so that everyone's health is safe.
Well, they have a major distancing issue down there because it gets very, very crowded at times.
I think what he's planning on doing, and we're backed up, right? Because we have a whole lot of things backed up. Originally, he was talking about just letting one person in at a time and having everybody else just sit in their car, which may be the way they have to work it for a while.
There's a problem with that too, because courts have to be open to the public.
Yeah,
So it's a problem.
they're working that out, but he had no news update as of Monday.
Okay.
We could touch on the sewer feasibility stuff, I guess. I know we've got that grant
Great.
money, which is great. So at no cost to the taxpayers, we'll, I think, be moving forward there. I understand the committee might be meeting again to review next week, perhaps?
Yeah. The 27th, we're meeting. Don, you got that email, right?
Yes, I did.
Oh, good. All right. So we're gonna,
Have you looked? Okay. I know I looked over the matrix too that you guys had printed out. Maybe Alice had done that there, which was great, a very large format. But the one that was in my mailbox was only commercial
right.
and vacant lots. Okay. Is it possible to add the residential component to that as well before next Wednesday's meeting?
Yeah, we can print that out. I believe Candace sent that in. Candace was working on that.
Okay, gotcha.
And so that was where we're still waiting on getting that from Candace.
Okay. So I wanted to share.
She finished the business section first because it was
Yep.
sort of critical.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
But to mention to Matthew Zick, who asked about our map too, which, due to distancing, Don, we haven't gotten together to put some dots on the map yet, but I guess, Matthew, that might start to happen next Wednesday or thereafter once we get the rest of the matrix filled out from Candace.
Well, I started doing it and it's very confusing. With the commercial, it's predictable. I mean, it is the four corners that I have the issues. And then, it's difficult to say what actually is a commercial property or the potentially commercial property or whatever. So, and also trying to come up with an appropriate map that works and laying this out. I think that's our consultant's job.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
right.
great. So we'll get to talk more about that Wednesday.
That contract is all signed and back at them. So we're all good to go on that.
Just to say it again, so people know, this is all paid for by grants, not the taxpayer.
And it doesn't mean we're making a
you.
sewer, where it doesn't mean this is a study. It's not the actual building of a sewer.
No one is
Exactly.
building a sewer.
Exactly.
There will be some holes dug around town. There will be some holes. You'll see the highway department hopefully out there digging some holes. But that's it. Well, if there are no other subjects for the evening,
Did we want to, or did we settle the mail pickup issue?
no, we did not. I sent you, it's possible for there to be a resolution passed to temporarily allow Alice or I or both of us to pick up the mail while we're in this pandemic moment. So
I
that,
mean, we have Judy
safe.
and Madeline with us right now. Can't
Yeah.
we have them come to executive session right now and can't we just figure it out? It's mail.
right. Well,
The point that I want to make is that our mail has been picked up by our clerk for the past, at least the past 30 years. And I don't see any reason to change that. I think there's usefulness in having a different person pick up the mail than the executive in the town. And that's has served us very well in the past. And I see no reason to change that. If we need additional mail pickup, that could be dealt with.
well, that's what I would like. That's all I would like is just, I would like at least 4 days of the mail. I think Friday's a moot
Well, if we
point.
do that,
Yeah,
we might need to budget some more money to the line just to cover the extra time it might take. But we could do that for a short period of time, whereas it doesn't have to be
perfectly willing to do
permanent. It could be
Yeah.
for
I'd be
60
happy.
days, 90 days.
If
Well,
Madeline's
Madeline's
willing
putting
to
in
do it.
extra time. I feel Madeline needs to be paid for that extra time.
Yeah.
And, with Judy, Judy has a real concern and I
Yeah.
believe it. So I think if Madeline needs to step up and we need to pay a little extra money to keep Judy safe, then I'm okay with that.
I'm for what works. I just want the mail. So I think that whatever we all decide is just fine.
Well, let's authorize it for 90 days and then see where we're at.
Excellent.
Whatever additional dollars are necessary because we have an emergency.
That is excellent. And Madeline, you can bring it whenever you can get away from the kids. So it's not it's not an issue of, it has to be there at 10.
Is Madeline on?
Yes, she is.
Can you unmute her? Because
There you are.
Yeah, that's fine. I just, Charlotte's Zoom meetings always seem to happen at 10 a.m. So either I might have to come in the afternoon with the mail, but I'm fine with coming every day
That's just fine.
or 4 days.
for
Just
4
for
days.
you. Yeah,
Okay.
Yes.
that's fabulous. All right, do we need to pass any kind of motion on that?
I don't think it's necessary,
I
but
resolve we
maybe,
make,
but go ahead, Rory, I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, I resolve we make those funds available, whatever it takes for those 4 days in total, for a period of 90 days.
I'll second that.
To have the deputy clerk.
Great. All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
No,
Excellent.
just what I was saying is that I like to memorialize the 90 days, so a motion was appropriate.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
All right. I think that's it.
Wonderful.
It's still light out.
I know.
And it's only May, still light out.
I'm glad the technology worked for everybody and
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, aye.
All right. See you in a month.
Okay. It's not